Let my tree bear good fruit so I can be used by you.
You are hearing this song, Used by You, from my dear friends, Tori and Shauna. You can find their latest album, Share Your Love Volume 2, wherever you stream your favorite songs. I'm so thankful for their friendship and that I get to share their music on Unscripted. I'm recording once again from my studios here in Hilliard, Ohio, powered by the Spot Athletics. I can't wait for you to meet today's guest. Thank you for listening. Make sure to like, share on all your platforms. For now, let's get into today's episode. All right, everybody, welcome back to Unscripted from my studios in Hilliard, Ohio, powered by the Spot Athletics. And today it's a Thursday. We're recording on a Thursday. It's Throwback Thursday, and we have much to discuss. It's been a few years since my guest and I were roaming the halls of Bedford High School back in the old 216. And you all know, if you know me, you know I love my Cleveland and my Bedford. So, Jenny, could you introduce yourself, and we'll just go from there.
Hi, I'm Jenny Way, Bedford graduate, 1988, now Jenny Lombardo. I've been married since 1995, so I was married at 25. 2 kids. I have a 19-year-old and a 14-year-old, and I am a realtor here in Cleveland, Ohio.
You are, and we have to get it. Let's just say it right out of the way, because I still want to own it. Like, I don't have a lot of trophies in my life, but one of them is that you and I were voted most outgoing in 1988 for Bedford High School. So let's just own that, Jenny.
Yeah, it's amazing. I was shy too. I don't know how I really got that, but hey, I'll take it. Any award in high school. I didn't get the academics, so outgoing, that'll do.
I love that so much. We were actually messaging earlier today, and we were both wallflowers. And so it's classic that the class of 1988 voted us most outgoing, because honestly, I was anything but outgoing.
Me too. Maybe loud at times. I don't know, but hey, I'll own it.
We'll both own it, and I'm going to take it to my grave, like put it in, hang it in the rafters.
Yes.
We were most outgoing. But it's funny, because the other thing that you and I talked about is we were never in a class together. I don't even know. Jenny, did we even know each other? Like, seriously?
No, I don't think so. I mean, until Vicki and I became friends, I learned about you, and no, I mean, I think part of that has to do with I was in steno. I don't know if you remember what that was, but
absolutely, right.
Yeah, in my junior year, Bedford decided I should be in, something that I could go to school after, not go to school after college, but just go to work, which was great. I ended up figuring out that's not what I want to do. I do not want to be behind a desk 9 to 5. My personality needs to be out and about and enjoying life. Not that you don't enjoy life 9 to 5, but it just wasn't for me being behind a desk. And I was glad I figured that out young.
So, because I want to come back to this, because it's so ironic that we're where we are today. But first of all, let's shout out our friend Vicki Magi in high school, and Vicki Takai today, my bestie in high school.
Mine too. Well, no, my bestie.
Yours too, right? Yeah, she was special, and she went through a lot in high school, and yet was just such a rock for me. I don't know about you, but such a rock for me in high school. And so shout out Vicki for sure.
Oh yeah, love Vicki. She's my best friend, soulmate. Haven't seen her in years. However, we talk all the time on social media, and we still love each other just as much as the day we met. And I truly cherish her friendship, what she'd been through in her life. She is a warrior and someone to look up to, and I just love her so much.
It's so funny, because I was texting her this morning, and it's the same for me. Like, she's just such a rock, and she's been such an inspiration, and she's always so supportive. She's incredible. So shout out Vicki Magi, and we're going to get into this. That's right. And she's been on the show too. She's been on the podcast.
Loved it.
She was a rock star. We got to get her back on. But yeah, and she has a great website too. We helped her build her website. And so her website's awesome. It's Rock On Living. I think it's .net I think that's it, .com, one of those two, but maybe both. Anyway, just love Vicky. And, and so I hope everybody else will check that out too. But anyway, shout out Vicky.
Yes.
All right. So I have to say, it's so funny that one, we're both wallflowers. Two, we had a common friend. And then three, like, it's just funny that you and I never knew each other. But here's the amazing thing. The class of 88 kind of nailed it with their voting, because, you know, it's almost like, so Laura Garrett is a friend, and she was, I think, voted most likely to succeed. And she's now a VP with, you know, an incredible company. So I feel like our peers kind of nailed it, because you're in realty. I'm on a podcast, which is crazy. But so anyway, let's talk about you, because I feel like our classmates kind of nailed it. We're outgoing. That's a part of our job every day, right?
It is putting yourself out there. I'm very big TikToks. I don't know if anyone follows me on Facebook, TikToks. You'll see me out there putting myself out there. That's how I get new clients. That's how I get, you know, the word out that I do sell real estate. It hurts when you hear a family member or friend buy or sell a home and they don't use you. And it's my job to make sure, and you know, they end up saying, I didn't know you were in real estate. I'm making sure everyone knows I'm in real estate.
Right. So take me through the process. First of all, let's just say, okay, we graduate in 88. We get our diploma at the Front Row Theater. Shout out Front Row.
Yeah.
Right. And if people need to know, we graduated with at the time, the largest graduating class in Bedford High School history. And so there was a lot of us. Which is probably why we didn't know each other well. So we graduate. You get your diploma. Where did you go after that?
Kent State. I studied actually zoology.
Wow. Are you serious?
Yeah, I studied zoology. I actually worked at SeaWorld of Aurora for a couple years. I loved whales, dolphins, and wanted to get into the training and animal rehabilitation. And I worked in actually group sales there, trying to get my way into the training department, and actually did have a tryout. You had to go through a physical fitness test, and I never made it. I had to hold my breath all the way down to 30 feet in February, freezing temperatures, you know, in a bathing suit. You had to hold your breath in salt water all the way down and up. And I had trained. I was able to go in a Olympic-sized swimming pool there, back, and halfway back, just to train my lungs in order to prepare myself for the training. And I was this close, and they let me try again. And I was so out of breath that I couldn't make it, but things happen for a reason. And yeah, that one of the whales that was in Aurora at the time ended up getting transferred to Florida. And I think it ended up killing a trainer. So,
oh my gosh. Is that the one that was on the news? That was on the news, right?
So, wow. You know, I always, you know, in life, I just, you know, your path is where it is, and you just follow it, and you end up where you are. Yeah. So I'm happy to, you know, that I ended up where I am today. Just believe the path.
That's incredible. I don't know where this podcast is going to land, and I hope a lot of BHS people will listen to it. But that's incredible, Jenny. Like, seriously, that's amazing. And that's the thing, is we all took our own path, right? Mm-hmm. We went to the Front Row. We got our little degree, and then we all went our own ways. And I don't think people know that. So we have a reunion coming up, and I hope people will attend, because like we all went our own way. And I know we do our Facebook thing, right? We post our family pictures and whatever, but that's incredible. Yeah. That's incredible. So when those plans didn't work out, what happened next?
It was devastating, you know, because now, you know, I didn't pass the physical fitness test. So now what? You know, the chance of getting in, you know, again, it would be a couple years. And did I want to wait? Did I sell my education? What do I do? So I ended up meeting my husband and continued my education at Kent State. I ended up bartending downtown Cleveland for 20 years plus. Started at Club Coconuts as a cocktail waitress with Vicky, and we had the time of our lives, and learned a ton, learned a lot about life, had a lot of fun, learned a lot of big lessons, and learned life, and, you know, ended up, you know, being, you know, finding my way again.
Unbelievable. Yeah, so your husband, where did you meet?
At Club Coconuts.
All right. So walk me through it if you can. It's unscripted. So walk me through it. How did you all meet?
So Vicky and I were cocktail servers. And, where I was down at the bar with my tray. I remember seeing Chris at the other end of the bar. We made eye contact. I was like, "Ah, that guy looks like Andre Agassi." Like, he's good looking.
Wait. Quick pause. Is it Andre Agassi before he shaved his head or?
Before he shaved his head with the hair.
All right. So
My husband now looks like, my husband doesn't have that hair anymore, but
I don't either.
He had the mullet. Either. Yeah.
That's right. Okay. So
yeah.
Andre Agassi mullet. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. So he won me over right there and started dating, married at 25. And, and after we had kids, I sort of put my career on hold. I was able to still, bartend at this time, working a couple days a week, but being a full-time mom. I think the most important thing in my life is being a good mother than any other job. And I've enjoyed that. And once my kids are growing up and they're off on their own, I'm like, now what? Now what am I going to do? They're in school and I'm at home. What am I going to do? And I've always had a love for real estate and decided to get my license. And so happy I did. I wish I would have did it a long time ago. I enjoy it. I love helping others with real estate. And yeah, it's been a wild ride.
So according to our friend Vicky, you have a very successful, both of your kids are amazing, but one of them is really good at basketball. Is that right?
Yeah. Aiden, he's 14. It's his true love. He just loves it. He practices every day. He's got like 150,000 shots up at Hoop Guru, this place where we go and he practices. He's dedicated and he's going to be a freshman in high school this year. And we're looking forward to tryouts and making the team and enjoying his high school year. So really looking forward to it.
Well, shout out Mark Price from the Cavs. I think his camp is up to 16. So are you guys going to attend that? I'll text you offline.
Yeah. Text me the information. We'd love to go. I love that podcast. Mark Price is one of my favorite Cavs. I remember when I was young and I loved him. So I definitely couldn't miss your podcast with him.
I love him. He's become such a brother to me and a friend, and I'm blessed. Again, like, for two wallflowers, you have successful in realty and I don't know. I seem to stumble on a lot of things in my life. It's been awesome. So in your realty business, how long did that take to get your realty license?
I would say 6 months. It wasn't long, but it was a lot of work and studying. Mm-hmm. And, once you graduate school and get your certificate, they don't teach you anything on how to be a good realtor. Right. They teach you all the ethics, rules, and regulations, but not how to go get business.
Right.
So Chris and I are going to be expanding, my team and try and help others, get their business, put it on speed, get there a little quicker with a little help from me. I'm looking forward to helping others get into real estate and teaching them stuff that I didn't know back then that I wish I would have known.
And you're very active on social media. So let's do that right now. What are the social media places people can find you?
Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok are my top 3. I'm on LinkedIn as well, but you can see me doing reels, TikToks every day. I dedicate one day. My Mondays I film. So I get a couple hours in filming in. And they really do have to do with my life in real estate. As I come across situations and things that I think people need to know, I'll make a reel because that's how people are getting information nowadays is on social media. So I'll do a quick 30-minute reel on, something that I think that you should know that's important in real estate. I also get in there a little bit of my life today with my kids. Aiden's on there all the time with basketball, and my oldest son, he's 19. He goes to BW. He's into fishing. And, he's the sportsman, the sport fisherman in our family. So I do a lot of content with them and work, but you can find me on there every day.
And you're in the Cleveland area, just so anybody listening knows. So if you're looking for a realtor, how do they contact you?
Yeah, so you can contact me at 216-410-5293. You could check out my Facebook page, Jenny Lombardo with RE/MAX, Instagram, Jenny Lombardo with RE/MAX. My website is Jenny Lombardo remaxagent.com. You can connect with me on there. But, I just love to help people with real estate. If you have a question, you can trust me. I'm happy to help. I'm not a big salesperson. I'm just there to help and answer any questions that you might have. I just want to share my knowledge with others to make it easier for them, because many people, you only sell and buy a home a couple times in your life. I sold 25 homes last year. I've been doing this for 7 years. So I have some experience, and I'm willing to, give my knowledge to others if they need any help.
So let me ask you, in a political world that we're in right now, the interest rates are really high. There's a lot happening. Are you seeing that effect in your business?
It really hasn't. When they first started to rise, it did a little bit, but I'll tell you, Aaron, inventory is so low
Yeah.
that, people are desperate for housings. Chris and I just had a listing go active a couple days ago here in Brunswick, where I actually live. And we've had 40 showings in 2 days.
Wow.
We're going to have like 10 offers with, these higher interest rates. And, over time, the average interest rate, I think, is 7% over the past 30 years. So they're
Right.
really at an average. I think just over the past few years, people were seeing the 2 and 3s because of, our situation with COVID and that. But who knows if we'll ever get to that point again. So it's time for people to get a house, because there's low inventory, and it's sad what these buyers have to go through. They're looking at 35 houses, in a year, putting in multiple offers, on all these different houses. It's very emotional, and it's a wild ride. And, I try to help our buyers through it as much as possible. I always say, if you lose, there's a better one out there for you. And usually
Mm.
that works out that way. When they end up winning a home, they're like, oh my God, I love it so much. I'm like, see, something else was better out there for you. So I always try to make it positive, even though they may lose out in a multiple offer situation, but it's an emotional roller coaster. And I just try to support them as much as I can. But no, the market is still booming. It really
Really?
is.
I know over the summer, my wife and I were in the same season you are. We've got kids in various stages of life and graduating and those things. We looked at selling because we wanted to kind of maximize, because at the time, the price of our home was insane.
Yeah,
Like,
I
it
know.
was, honestly, Jenny, it was double what we paid
Yeah.
for it.
Mm.
And so we're like, let's just cash out, let's go. And, we, long story short, we're staying where we are because there's just other things, pulling
Mhm.
cash out of our home, things like that. But
Yeah,
anyway, like, the market was insane. Is it still insane,
it
or have you
is.
seen it calm down a bit?
It's still insane. It has come down maybe a little bit. Maybe instead of 20 offers, we're seeing 10,
Yeah.
but it's still a multiple offer situation. Homes are still selling for asking or above. So, it's still really the same situation. And I'll tell you, even last year, a lot of my buyers who were lucky enough to, win a home, they have equity today.
Right.
So even
Right.
paying as much as they did this year, they have equity.
Right.
So it's just amazing. Don't wait. I just see. I'm not a specialist in it, but I just see prices just keep rising, and I just suggest get into that home today before you know who knows what happens tomorrow.
Right. And that's exactly it. Who knows what happens tomorrow? What I see on Instagram and on socials, you have beautiful homes. Like, the ones that I see, you all are, they're incredible. Like, there's some beautiful
Yeah.
homes in the Cleveland area. Do you get into renovating at all, or is it just buy
Yeah.
and sell?
It's just buy and sell right now.
Okay.
I would like to renovate, but I'll tell you, those beautiful homes don't start out that way. When I first meet with these people, it could take months in order for
Mhm.
them, to get their home ready. I go in for a pre-listing presentation and, give them tips and tricks on how to get the home ready, declutter, depersonalize. A lot of people don't like to hear it, but I'm like, take your pictures down, get rid of all your decorations
Right.
on the floor. You want to make it look spacious. So, these houses just don't come like that. It takes work to get them show ready so the pictures look, perfect. The number one thing that attracts people to your home are the pictures. If your pictures don't look good, then, you're not going to get as many showings. So,
Oh,
yeah.
and is that just your experience in selling homes, or did you learn that? in a class or
It's
anything.
no, this is all experience from on the job training. You know, on the
Hmm.
job training, read books. I mean, I've educated myself throughout the years and I know the market pretty well. I know what buyers are looking for. I know what sellers need to do just based off of experience and studying. Yeah.
So when it comes to selling a home, what's the greatest advice you can give someone?
I would say declutter, depersonalize your home, and don't get emotionally involved. You know, that's why it's not good to sell your home on your own because you are emotional to it, and the buyer is going to tell you what your home is worth. You're going to think it's worth $1 million, but the buyers are the ones that are going to tell you what your home is worth. So listen to the buyers and listen to
Mm.
your realtor because they know what the appraisers are looking for. They know what the house could, they know how to price it to bring in maximum amount of showings. I would say just, listen to your realtor because you can get emotionally attached and maybe have unrealistic expectations.
And is it true you and your husband do this together?
Yeah, Chris he's done some off market for a couple years and I was like have been licensed and I sort of got a little busy and sometimes letting some leads go and maybe missing out on opportunities and I said, why don't you get your license and let's do this together. We've did this team in life. I think we could do it in our career and he's been a great asset and he's really helped me with buyers, showing more places. Plus, he's opposite of me. I know we won outgoing, but Chris is, people love him. He knows everybody. He's still connected with, the community. He'll go talk to our elderly neighbor, every day just so she's, not alone. He's such a good person and people love him. And I thought he'd be, a great asset to our team.
Are you connected to, like, there's the big firms, right? The whatever, I can't think of it. Remax is the
Max,
first one that comes
Keller
out, right?
Williams,
So,
Howard
so
Hanna.
are you connected to one of those, or
Yes.
are you just completely on your own?
So I am, as a realtor, you have to belong to a brokerage. So I
Okay.
belong to, they hold my license. I belong with Remax right now.
Okay.
And yes, the Remax has been great. I love it. Yeah, everyone knows the brand.
Right.
It's all
Right.
over the world. So
Hmm.
I don't have to just sell myself. I mean, I don't have to just sell myself. A lot of times you have to sell the brand. And I think Remax just speaks for itself. So it's been a great home for me.
The hot air balloon, right?
Yeah.
Is there a story behind the hot air balloon?
I don't know if there is a story, and I did have a chance to go into that balloon.
Is that right?
I did, and I was going to go up to Kelly's Island, and it was windy that day, so they grounded it. I was so bummed. I wanted to do like a nice TikTok and stuff in the hot air balloon, but I lost out on the opportunity. And hopefully, they come back to Ohio again. They're in the area every once in a while, so I'm sure I'll get another shot.
It's funny because every company has their brand, and I'm in the marketing side of business. And so it's just first thing you think of. I don't know what it has to do with houses, but I just know that they have a recognizable brand. So,
Exactly.
all right, I'm going to hit you with a bunch of 80s questions. But before we do that, can you walk me through all your links again, based on everything we talked about? So is there a website, your socials? Please give me all those.
Yep. JennyLombardo.remaxagent.com is my website. Jenny Lombardo with Remax on Facebook, and then the same thing for Instagram, Jenny Lombardo with Remax. And we
And
could go ahead.
you'll see all the houses and everything that you
Yeah,
post, right? You
yeah.
said TikTok. You're on TikTok?
I am on TikTok. Yes,
What's your
I
TikTok?
am. It, I'm sorry.
What's your TikTok?
It's just my name, Jenny Lombardo. I think Jenny Lombardo Realtor.
How
So
many hours a day do you lose to TikTok?
gosh, it's a lot. Because I tell you what, a lot of people are on there looking for information. And I'll tell you what, that's where my first time home buyers are. So,
Is that right?
yeah, Facebook is, people our age.
Right.
Instagram is a little younger. And then TikTok, that's where all the first time home buyers on. So I go on there and I try to get these first time home buyers, educating them and, teaching them about real estate. And I just love it. I have fun. And I'm a wallflower. I don't put myself out there a lot, but for some
Right.
reason, I have no problem putting myself out there on TikTok.
Right. My daughter doesn't either. My youngest is the most amazing TikTok ever. And hers awesome. I wish I had a better reason for using TikTok outside of mindless entertainment. It's so good. I don't post a lot, but I
You
do
know,
love the platform.
yeah, I want to mention too, we are on YouTube. YouTube
Okay.
is
All right.
more of it's Jenny and Chris with Remax on YouTube. I give a lot more informational stuff there, education. But from there, you can hook up with me on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. So
So anyone in the Cleveland area, all those things are very important. Outside of the Cleveland area, is there any way that you can help people?
yeah, Remax is, like I said, all over the world.
Okay.
And, I have thousands of realtor friends. And if you're moving to, let's say, North Carolina, I got a guy. If you're going to
Well,
Florida, I got a girl. I know.
you never
And
know.
yeah, and they're good. They're not just, someone I know. They're someone they're trusted, great realtors that, I could direct you to.
It's a crazy time in the world. You never know where we're going to end up, right? I mean, businesses are moving people around and some people are working from home. I always dreamed of living in North Carolina. If I don't come back to Cleveland, I can't drag my wife back to Cleveland because she
Yeah.
wants no part of it. All right. So we're going to get into some rapid fire. First of all, and I didn't send you this one, so you're not going to be prepared.
Oh,
Did you
gee.
have Mr. Anderson in Heskett? Did you have Mr. Anderson
Oh my gosh. I
for
think I
history?
did. Yeah, I think I
Yeah.
did.
Yeah. So his daughter's my wife.
Oh my God.
That's
John,
right.
what a small world.
Yeah, it's a very
Oh
small
my
world.
God. Did you? Did you
No, I
have
did not. No, I did not. So here's the funny thing. There was like 2 years at Heskett where somebody else taught history, and there was a guy named Mr. Long, and he was one of my favorite teachers ever. I had Mr. Long. I did not have Mr. Anderson, who's now my father-in-law.
Oh my
So
gosh.
that God was going before me
Yes.
because
Wow.
as you said, Jenny, I was not a good student, and my father-in-law probably would not have been a fan. I never had my father-in-law at middle school.
Wow. Wow, what a small world.
It's a very small world. So anyway, all right. So what was your favorite 80s band?
Okay, so The Cure.
The
I gotta say, I
Cure.
mean, there's so
Yeah.
many, but I like a lot of different music. I could also say Poison, but
Oh, it's
Tammy
so good.
Cashman and I went to a concert when we were 19 to see Poison, and I just thought they were the best back then. But I look back at today, and I'm like, I think really The Cure.
Did you go to In Excess with Vicky?
I didn't. That was right before Vicky and I connected, but she turned me on to NXS, and I got to tell you, Michael Hutchins, love
Oof.
that guy, and I ended up
R.I.P.
loving XS, and that's thanks to Vicky.
Well, R.I.P. Michael Hutchins. But
Yeah.
so it was the only time I ever did anything bad in high school in my entire life. And I'm sorry to say it, but I did skip school in Vicky's
Oh,
escort to go to Randall Mall and buy tickets for
oh
her
my
for
God.
NXS. And I didn't even get to go. I didn't get to go to the concert. So
What happened? Why didn't you get to go?
I wasn't allowed. I
Oh
wasn't allowed to
no!
go.
What a
She
shame.
bought me a shirt though. And I wore that
Oh,
shirt like a champ
and
for,
who did Vicky take?
she went with Kara, I think.
Oh, how
And maybe some
nice.
other people. Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't know. Yeah, I know she went with Kara.
that
Maybe,
was
I don't
nice.
know. Yeah. Anyway,
Oh,
but I didn't get to go, and that was the beauty of it. Is I skipped school, broke code, did the
Randall Park
thing,
Mall.
ran to Park Mall, and Vicky got to go, and I didn't. All right.
Oh,
So, senior prom. Who was your senior prom date?
now this is going to be a shocker. I didn't go. I
Come
did
on,
not go to prom. No.
come
It
on.
just wasn't my thing. I feel terrible. Like Joey Krishner asked me, and I just didn't want to go to prom for some reason. Like again, I was shy. I didn't. It just wasn't my thing. Didn't go.
How
I regret
how
that
in
now.
the
I regret it today, but at that time, I was like, no desire to go.
how in the world did two of the biggest wallflowers, maybe in our entire class, get voted most outgoing?
I don't know.
Come
Who
on,
did
Jen.
you Who did you
Seriously.
go to prom with?
So I went with Gina Miracle, and my
Oh,
shout out Gina, wonderful individual. She was amazing. But my greatest regret in high school is that I didn't ask my best friend, and that was Vicky.
Oh,
Because I was afraid she'd say no, because we were
yeah.
friends. When it was that age, I guess
Aw.
prom, took it to a different level, and I was afraid of that. And
Yeah.
anyway, Vicky and I talk about it all the time. My
Aw.
greatest regret is that I didn't ask Vicky Magi then to
Yeah.
prom. So yeah,
Aw.
but I went with Gina Miracle, and we had a
Nice.
very good time.
Gina, Miracle, Vicky, and I dormed with each other at Kent State.
Did she go to Kent State? We weren't even literally. It was over after prom. So she went to Kent State too?
Yeah. Vicky and I dormed with her in Tri-Towers.
Are you kidding me?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Such a small world. All right. What's the first concert you ever went to in the 80s?
Boy George, Richfield Coliseum, Culture Club.
Oh, gosh. Are you
Trauma,
serious?
chameleon. You come and go. I just love that song. I love him. Right? I recently showed my son, whom I Boy George and Culture Club. He was like, Mom, I'm like, I just love that song. And my mom took me.
We were driving this weekend, and that song came on, and my daughter said, "Turn it off." And I was like, "Why?" And she was like, "They play it at the pool all the time." She works at the pool, and apparently she does not. I was like, "It's Boy George. Oh, it's Culture Club." And she was like, "Turn it off." They just have no appreciation, Jenny. They really don't.
But I tell you, another great concert I went to, and it was shortly after that, was we rented a limo. Vicky, Kara, I think Julie Bielek. I can't remember. I don't know if Tammy went or not. There was a bunch of us. We ran a limo and we saw George Michael. Oh my God. That was amazing. We had
again, R.I.P. Like one of the best ever, right?
Oh, love them.
So good. Okay. My first concert in the 80s was New Edition. That was my very first concert.
Great one.
I know. And I went with Eddie Buchanan. And we had Lori Notarian, who was a year, I think, older than us at Bedford. Anyway, we had an amazing time. And New Edition is still the greatest group ever. Period.
That's awesome. Hands down. My husband's first concert was Michael Jackson. Yeah.
So good, right? Yeah. And they're all gone. They're all gone, Jenny. They're all gone.
Yes.
And it just
where did time go?
Prince, Whitney, Michael Jackson, George Michael, they're all gone. But hey, New Edition's still around. So
that's right.
I'm just saying. Okay. All right. One thing you would tell your 80s self.
That you don't have to have it all figured out when you're graduating high school. It's so much pressure deciding, what are you going to school for? What are you going to be when you grow up? And you think you have to know all the answers, and you don't. Just, go through life doing good things, for progressing yourself, learning, meeting new people, and, your path will take you where you need to be. And I just remember being so stressed, like you have to check off, what's your major. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know, and that's one thing I told my son, at 19, he goes to BW, and I'm like, just, he's going for digital marketing and sports management. And he knows, but, I made sure I let him know. I said, you don't have to have it figured out now. Just work, go to school, and opportunities will lead you, to where you need to be.
Right. Yeah. You mentioned, and I'm sorry to get off our rapid fire real quick. You said you were not a great student, or no?
No, I was a terrible test taker. I was a good student. I went to school. I studied. I just couldn't pull in the grades. I really
Let me ask you this, Jenny. I'm so sorry to interrupt you, because I was the same way. So now we understand. You and I didn't have the benefit, and I don't want to speak for you. I'm just going to say I did not have the benefit in the 80s to know there was things like ADHD, there was dyslexia. There's things now that my daughter, my youngest daughter, gets extra test time because she's dyslexic. And at the end of the day, I'm dyslexic and I have ADHD. I'm pretty much OCD. I have every label you could possibly give. And honestly, I got a 13 on my ACT, as many people know, because there weren't labels. There wasn't understanding at that time. And I think our kids today are benefited in some ways. And at the same time, I hate giving them labels. But is
Yeah.
that true for you, Jenny? And I
Yes,
hate to
it
take
is.
another course here, but is that true for you?
It is, Aaron. It's funny that you mentioned it. Once I started, because I was always brought up, go to school, get a good job. So I'm like, I'm not gonna, and I was put into steno with Bedford, suggesting that I should do that because of my grades. That I would have a tough time in college, and I didn't take no for an answer. I said, I'm going to Kent State. I want to enjoy, a college experience. I'm glad I did. And after struggling there and studying really hard and, dating Chris, he's like, you study more than anyone I've ever known. I mean, here I am, cocktail waitressing a couple nights a week and studying 50 to 60 hours, getting C's and, a
Mhm.
D occasionally. It just
Yeah.
wasn't cutting it. So I ended up going to the psychology department at Kent State and got tested. And I do have ADD and a memory disorder. So, there you go. And then they gave me, like you said, your daughter has extra time for testing. That's
Mhm.
what they gave me. My grades improved so much. I went from C's and D's to A's and B's.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I had already had so many credit hours of not very good grades. It was hard to bring my GPA up, but boy, I was glad to. I just thought that was normal, that I had no clue I had an issue until talking to the psychology department at Kent State. And yeah, I did have a learning disability that I wasn't aware of in high school.
So I don't even know how to end our conversation, and I don't want to rush it. I guess I just want to say, for our Bedford friends that are listening to this, because we're parents now, we're of that age, or some of us are grandparents even, and that's crazy to think of. But at the end of the day, like, understand that there's tools available today that were not available to us. And I think anyone listening to our voices knows where they were in high school. For me, I struggled and didn't know why. I
Yeah.
just didn't know why. And honestly, I didn't care. I did not care. But let me put an asterisk next to that and say that Jenny is incredibly successful today. She's
Oh, thank you
incredibly
so much.
successful,
That means so
right?
much to
Way,
me.
way beyond being the most outgoing in 1988. You know what I mean?
Thank
Like,
you.
you are incredibly successful today.
Oh, that
You,
means so
you're
much for you to say that. You don't even know.
No, you're a mom, and
Mhm.
that alone. Let's if
Yeah.
even if we just had a hard stop right there and said you're a mom, but you're a wife, a mom, and you have a successful realtor business.
Yes. On
Your
my way.
ACT score does not define you, right?
Exactly. Yep.
And I spent a lot of time, Jenny, in my life being defined by my ACT score, and I bring it up all the time on this podcast because honestly, I think it's hilarious. I do.
Yeah.
But we didn't have the benefit that our kids have today of the labels. And honestly, I don't know if it's a benefit or a negative. The
Yeah.
labels, you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Because what I want for my daughters and
Mhm.
both of my daughters and my son is I want
Mhm.
them to embrace who they are,
Mhm.
regardless of whatever, right? But
Yeah.
I guess that's the thing is when I look back and I find old grade cards where I was getting 2 point something, right? Gosh, anybody listening to us today in Bedford or not, don't let that define your kid, and don't
Mhm.
let it define you, because I'm 52, and it took me my entire life to find the passion and the real lane that I feel like I was meant to be in. So I don't know. I guess I don't even know if that makes sense, but I guess I just want to encourage people, and I want to honor you and how you took all those things we've talked about today, and you have a successful business, and I'm really proud of you.
Yeah. I thank you so much, Aaron. That means a lot. And, kudos to you. And, you just don't give up, right? You just find a
No.
way,
Right.
and you just find a way. And, you just can't be defined by being, labeled, having a disability. So you learn a different way, you
Yeah.
know, someone coughs in a test and you forget everything. That's not your fault. And there's nothing wrong with you.
Yeah.
It's just, I remember being in a test and someone would cough and I'm like, oh my God, it just lost my train of thought and
Yeah.
lost everything. So, you know what? I found my way. And
Yeah.
it might have not been through my degree, but I'm, successful in, real estate business because, I control myself. It's talking with people. It's doing other things. So just because your label doesn't mean that you're not going to be successful. So
I'm so proud of you, Jenny. And
yeah.
you and I did not have, as we established earlier, we didn't have a single class together. I don't even think we really knew each other except bidirectionally through other people. But I really do mean it when I say I'm so proud of you. And when I see
Thank you.
everything you're doing and accomplishing on Facebook, I'm really, really proud of you.
Thank you.
Thanks for representing the 216 and for Bedford.
Thank you so much. I appreciate Aaron. And I thank you for your support. I see you liking and saying things on, comments. I really appreciate it. All the support. It means the world. And I wish we would have met a long time ago. I feel like we're the same. Maybe that's why Vicky loves us both.
That's right. And I think why we love Vicky, right?
Yeah.
She's amazing. And so shout out Vicky one more time.
Yeah.
All right. Give me all the links one more time before we get off here today.
All right. YouTube channel, Jenny and Chris Lombardo. Remax. Facebook, Jenny Lombardo with Remax. Instagram, Jenny Lombardo with Remax. My website, jennylombardo.remaxagent.com. And call me if you have any questions in real estate. I'm here to help. And thank you so much for the opportunity. And class of 1988, love you guys. And I'm proud to be a Bearcat. 88
Always.
Is great.
I forgot to even ask you, where do you go when you want to get live?
Where do you want to go when you want to get live? Be high, be high. That's a great way to end it, Jenny. Doing a TikTok.
That's right. There it is. One favor, because I'm not going to be at that reunion.
Yes.
Hug on everybody.
Hug
on their neck and just tell them that you're doing it bi-directionally through me. I love me some Bedford.
Get some good pictures, post them on Facebook, so anyone who can't make it will be there. Yeah, I think I'm going to meet Tammy Cashman.
Love it.
At the Nautica maybe after. I don't think I'm going to be able to make the cruise, but I think we're going to try to hook up with everyone after.
Do it, please. Yeah. Please. You'll be so glad you did. So shout out Bedford. Shout out 216. Yeah. Thank you so much, Jenny. This has been wonderful.
Thank you, Aaron. It was great talking to you. Thanks for the opportunity, and I'll talk to you later.
Sounds great.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the latest episode of the Unscripted Podcast. Please remember to like and share. We'll be back soon with another amazing guest, but until then, remember to live each day unscripted.